The city, your city and mine, is growing larger, day by day, week by week, and year by year. This is true all across the land. Today, more people than ever before live in and around cities. In the process of growing up, a city changes in many ways. It faces problems that were never dreamed of just a few years ago. One of the biggest problems is that of traffic, the movement of cars and trucks, streetcars and buses, all the many vehicles that carry people and goods in and around the metropolitan area. Most streets were built when the city was smaller and when there was much less traffic. But today's world is a world on wheels. Thousands of vehicles are now forced onto streets that were originally planned for a much smaller number. City traffic would be hopelessly snarled if it were not for certain measures that have been taken to deal with the problem. Building wider streets and widening those of yesterday has helped the flow of traffic. At certain busy intersections, electrically controlled signals have helped. They allow more traffic to flow on the busier streets during rush hours of the day. Doing away with left turns at some intersections has helped. Making some streets one-way streets is another way that has helped to keep city traffic on the move. But of all the measures that have been taken in growing cities everywhere, one stands out above all the others, and that has been the building of entirely new roads. Roads that are free of traffic signals and the delays caused on ordinary congested city streets. Sometimes these new roads pass right through the city, or sometimes they pass over it, or even under or around it. In certain parts of the country, these modern roads are called freeways. In other areas, they're known as expressways, or throughways, or parkways. Actually, they're a kind of highway, a city highway. Building a city highway is not an easy task. Building a road through open country is difficult enough. But when the road must pass through often heavily congested areas, the problems of planning and construction are multiplied many times. Like all great projects, the plan for a city highway begins in the minds of men. In this case, the highway engineers. They plan the proposed route first on paper. There are many things to consider so that the highway will best serve the greatest number of people. They take into account what kind of traffic the road will carry, whether mostly passenger cars or perhaps trucks. They consider how much traffic there will be, at what speed it can move with safety, the number of lanes needed, the number of entrance and exit roads. They determine the best way to connect the suburbs with the city itself. The route they plan seldom follows an existing street. It usually cuts a new path across the city. Often, long blocks of buildings must be purchased to make way for the highway. Sometimes the buildings are torn down and just the usable materials are saved. Sometimes buildings are purchased by house-moving companies. Each building sold to a new owner is lifted up off its foundation. All water and gas pipes, telephone and electric wires are disconnected. Then, late at night, when traffic is light, it's moved across darkened city streets to a new location. Then an old building may become a new building in another part of town. And so a path, called the right-of-way, is cleared to make room for the highway. Then come the road builders or contractors with their powerful machines. The big rough job of creating a modern highway where there was never a road before begins. First, the foundation for the road, called the roadbed, is prepared. Along some parts of the right-of-way, hilly places are leveled by earth-moving machines. A fairly flat road, free of sharp hills and valleys, is a safer road. And this is one of the important considerations of planners and builders alike. And so the hills are scooped up, one load at a time, and taken to the low places. The builders will move a mountain if that's what it takes to do the job. Each section of the road might require a little different type of construction. A lot of concrete is needed to build a bridge. Sometimes each load of concrete is funneled down into narrow openings in the wooden forms. When the concrete dries and the forms are removed, the bridge begins to take shape. At other places, pedestrian tunnels are constructed. They'll allow people to pass safely under the highway. In some places, more dirt must be brought in to construct access roads. The access roads will carry traffic on and off the city highway. So that the access road will rise up gently to the highway, the slope is carefully graded with a bulldozer. Then it's packed firm under tons of rolling weight. When the work of preparing the roadbed ends, the job of paving the road begins. This is one of the final operations in building a city highway. Eventually, a ribbon of concrete stretches across the city. It takes a lot of men, machines, and money to build a highway, but when it's completed, it's all worthwhile, for there are many benefits. Traffic moves along at a steadier pace than on ordinary city streets. When drivers use the new road properly, the many safety measures help reduce accidents, as much as 80% in some cases. Bridges and tunnels eliminate all cross traffic. Cars entering the city highway are provided with access roads that do not disrupt the main flow of traffic. Important road signs are big and clear. They're placed so that they can be seen from a distance, allowing the motorist plenty of time to get into the proper lane. All traffic enters and leaves the highway at the right-hand side. In some places, the opposing lanes of traffic are separated by a strip of ground or other barrier. This greatly reduces the possibilities of head-on collisions. Pedestrian tunnels are another safety feature for motorists as well as people on foot. Most city highways are fenced off along their entire length. This keeps people and animals off the busy road and out of danger. All large projects require a lot of money. The cost of building metropolitan highways is met in most areas from the taxes which people pay. In many parts of the country, the taxes are collected at service stations from the sale of gasoline. The motorists who use the highways help pay for them in this way. When the motorist buys new license plates for his car, part of the money is often used to help build highways through the cities in his state. Sometimes the motorist pays part of the cost with the money he puts into parking meters. These are but a few of the many ways that money is raised to help build better highways. Better highways bring other benefits to metropolitan communities. Today, along many city highways, people have built factories. The materials needed at the factory and the goods produced there travel on such highways. And these highways connect with other roads throughout the state and the nation. Hundreds of people who work in the factories depend on the same highways to get them to and from their jobs. And as the city grows, new communities spring up around it. Often people who live in one community work in another. Once this was impossible. But in many places today, city highways provide people with the means of rapid transportation. They are free to live outside the city and yet are able to work anywhere in the metropolitan area. There are, of course, still more problems of city traffic to be solved. As the city grows larger, its problems grow larger as well, in many ways. More city highways will be built in the future, that is certain. For today, this is a world on wheels. New and perhaps better ways of controlling increased traffic will be discovered. Ways that are yet to be thought of by tomorrow's planners and builders.